the game will begin in a hallway. Well, very similar to the one behind Cliff himself, actually. And you hear the heel clicking of a woman's shoes as she's walking down the hallway, and we kind of zoom out and we see her in a pantsuit, of a very high quality suit, and she's carrying a briefcase, and she got short hair, but it's not like a very it's more like a pixie cut, and it's very kind of pulled back and neat, and we're following her from the back, and then she gets to a door, and this is not a it goes past the barred sails like you see before you where Jeremy is, and you get to an area where there's literally just doors. There's just series of doors, metallic doors, and we see Aston is just like in a room with nothing in it. And what Aston is he's not in a permanent cell at this point. This is more of just a holding right now. There's nothing comfortable for him to sit on, nothing like that. No window, no nothing. Nothing of comfort or anything. And it's just this room is a mixture of metallic walls and padded sections. And you see her, and she's looking through the like a slit in the door, which is basically just like bulletproof glass and bullet and laser-proof glass. And she looks in at you, and Aston, you see a familiar face looking in at you. This is Martha Etheridge. She is your family's the Brax Courtney. The company, Brax Courtney Enterprise lawyer.
Um,
And she has a look on her face where she's just like this look where if you could hear her, she's probably going.
mm-hmm.
So, and she does this, and you can't hear her, of course, because the door is sealed shut. And she goes like this. And then her heels click away. Of course, you can't hear the clicking. And then she leaves. 5 minutes pass. 10 minutes. 20 minutes. So it seems like an eternity. Aston, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Roll spirit roll for me.
Jesus, okay.
Yeah, so at this point, you're starting to get anxious. An hour has passed. How's your character handling himself at this point?
Well, it started off with like me, like not out loud, but in my head, kind of going over what I planned on saying. And then when I seen her, it just kind of turned into like a, almost like if you're scolded by like not your mother, but some other like paternal figure that like, you know how like you react to people
like
that aren't your parents differently when they scold you. Yeah. So it's just like, shit. Okay. And that kind of threw off the game a little bit. And then after an hour, it was just kind of like
she's
sitting
like
there.
15 years your senior or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so after like, you know, she walks away, then it's kind of like okay, good. I'm going to get out of here. And then it's like, am I going to get out of here? And then after an hour, he's probably like at this point starting to feel like it never takes this long.
Positivity like fades.
Yeah. Like I might be in here for a while now.
Yeah.
So this might be a real thing.
And then 2 hours go by. So the door finally, you hear like a whirring sound and then a click, and the door opens up. A guard is on the other side of the door, and the guard says, Courtney, step out, please.
There's no one else in. Yes.
Come with me.
Yes, sir.
And so he kind of like ushers you to go in front of him. And then, of course, he escorts you. And then when you're about halfway down the hall and you're almost to the doors, he says, "Hold still." And then he starts to put binders on you.
Oh, this isn't necessary.
I'll decide what's necessary.
No, yes, you have all the authority here.
And so he puts the binders on you, and then you get into get into this room they lead you to, which of course leads to another it's kind of like it's a hallway, but it's sort of like an antechamber as well, and the doors whoosh open, and then like a scanner beam goes over you. And if your character had psychic abilities. Shaun keeps using the word sonic, so I'm using it. The word's not used in the setting. Psychic abilities. You might feel a slight headache, but if you don't, then you won't feel it. But basically, you're being scanned. But after that, you're led into a hallway with several different rooms in it, different doors connected to it, and basically these are just like rooms where people are for questioning, right? And you're brought into a room with a table in it, and Miss Etheridge is on one side of the table with a chair beside her, and then an investigator is on the other side of the table, and the guard like shoves you into the seat beside Miss Etheridge. He's not violent or anything. He just kind of
right,
like puts
assertive.
you in there. Yes.
Okay.
And he leaves you cuffed. And you're cuffed around the front, by the way. It's not an uncomfortable cuff. Yeah. But anyways, now you're sitting beside Miss Etheridge, and she's got a bunch of files and paperwork in front of her and all that kind of stuff, and forms and various things, and he's got in evidence and all that kind of stuff in front of him, and it's actually paperwork, you know. But there's also like various forms of like holo paper, and there's like computers and all kinds of stuff there too. There's also like a holovid screen that's constantly playing like the same footage, the vid screen of like the
just
CCTV,
that one moment.
the CCTV footage. Actually, there's two holovid screens. There's a CCTV footage of the entire event, and there's also the cam footage from the guards as they came around the corner and what they saw from their body cams. Now, and the investigator says, "Thank you for joining us, Mr. Courtney." And Miss Etheridge says, "My client is not inclined to say anything without my permission first. Courtney, we've been through this rodeo before. You know what to do."
Martha, it's been years since I've seen you, and you don't look like you've aged a day.
Please, no flattery. We don't have time for this.
Hey, I've been stuck in a cell for 2 hours. Do you think maybe we can get these cuffs off so I can have a civilized conversation here?
Yes, I agree. There's no reason in the cuffs. Investigator just kind of waves and says, "Fine, get rid of the cuffs."
Thank you.
Guard takes the cuffs off.
So, as my lawyer said, any questions that you have, please direct them through her.
So I have no ability whatsoever to question him at all? Is that what you're telling me, Miss Etheridge? But look, he's free to answer questions if he wants to, but we have already compiled his statement about the events that transpired. All right, and just real quick, out of curiosity, Cliff, you were completely honest about your statement, correct?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, when I came to from being electrocuted.
Right. But everything that transpired, you were honest about, and everything that you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So the footage should back up and corroborate everything you said.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. All right. Got it. Okay. All right.
In fact, I could actually see him probably saying something like in the middle of them talking, like, "Oh, excuse me, this is my favorite part here, where I hop over that small wall and rush to save the ambassador from Oh, yeah, that. Never mind. I'm sorry. You two continue.
Well, you're lucky. Since you've decided to speak in your defense, then now I can address you. So we have spoken to Endema, and she has spoken to your defense. But we still have a heinous act of execution to address, which is now impeding our investigation into this act of terrorism. So thank you very much, Mr. Courtney.
I'm just looking over with this look on my face like I want to say something, and I look over at Martha.
She's looking at you glaring, and she says, shut your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
He says, we see, he could have been the only one to survive, but unfortunately now all three of them are dead. So that leaves us at what looks like to be a 2 to 3 month investigation into why we had attackers after Mrs. Endema. So that leaves us in a difficult situation, but fortunately for you, your lawyer here has worked out bail for you, and we're going to continue to work tirelessly with her to see where we go from there. So, congratulations, Mr. Courtney. You have a bail release.
Thank you, Detective.
Now, can I question Mr. Courtney about this incident here? And then he points to the camera when you see some rocks explode on the side of a structure in the spaceport, and an innocent civilian gets struck. Now, your report doesn't say anything about this incident here. It seems that we see a spike in psychic activity picked up by the scanners. But no one was picked up with your team that had psychic abilities. Here to explain this.
Detective, do I look like a psychic? All I know is that, as you see on the video, people were shooting. I shot back. I don't know what any of this other psychic action is.
And you're telling me you don't know of anyone in your team or anyone that was with your group that had psychic abilities? Because it's clear that someone in this conflict had psychic abilities.
I wish you the best of luck in finding them.
Make a persuasion roll. All right. Okay. Well, lucky for you, you have the support of the ambassador, and you have Daddy's money, Mr. Courtney.
I mean, I find it odd that you keep saying it's lucky for me when, had that ambassador been killed on your dime, what would that have meant for you, Detective? Where would this case have gone if those two rogue marauders murdered an ambassador on your dime? Would the investigation still be a 3-month investigation, or would this be a year-long investigation, a decade-long investigation? I understand the predicament and I understand the situation. And I by no means acted in a way to make your investigation any harder. But I will not apologize for defending myself and for protecting Edema when I did. And the actions that I took, I felt were necessary at the time. All of them.
All of them. Okay. Since we said all of them, why don't we go over all of your actions then? How about that? Let's start from square one. Let's just go over your entire statement again with your lawyer present, and let's make sure everything tracks. Uh, and let's make sure there's still some consistency between your written word and your verbal statement right here, right now. Sound good?
Sounds to me like you're trying to reinvent the wheel here after you already said that I was free to
No,
go.
it's just making sure the truth tracks. This is how things work when you're doing an investigation, Mr. Courtney.
Well, compare my written statement to the video evidence you have playing on loop.
Mr. Etheridge, I'm sorry, Mr. Courtney. This is Miss Etheridge speaking up. Let's cooperate with the authorities, and this is pretty common practice. And let's just sit tight, and we'll go through this, and we'll be out within the hour. All right? And so we kind of zoom out and we leave the scene with you guys going over in detail the written statement. And basically you just kind of like corroborating everything you wrote. And this is actually pretty like common stuff, right? We see
for
in
sure.
investigations. Yeah. So, and but we're not gonna like slow down the game for you to like go over the entire statement, right? That would be boring. So, and but anyway, so that's what we see you guys do, and so at the end of that time period, we see you walk out finally out of the station, and with your lawyer, and she shakes her head and says, "That could have went a little better, Aston."
Could have went a lot worse. You're the best.
Well, I secured you bail. I secured you bail with travel permissions, so you can still keep doing the family business. Don't ask me how I pulled that off. I don't know how I pulled that one off.
They knew they were in the wrong. This is all political bullshit.
Look,
The charges.
don't go around executing people in public. All right?
So everyone would have rathered me assume they were dead and let them get a kill shot off on an ambassador on my watch.
Next time, just disarm them, okay?
I did. Entirely.
No, Courtney.
I understand. I understand.
You
Can I ask a favor? I know I'm in your debt already, but can I ask a favor?
Family. You represent your family in everything you do when you are on ILAR or an ILAR colony.
And you don't think that one of the PR nerds in the company could spin this as a win? I saved a foreign ambassador from another planet, another system.
We're going to do our best to spin it, but it's going to be an uphill battle.
I don't see how it would be. You're
It's going to
great
take at
at
least
this.
3 months when all the results come in from the investigation before we can even attempt to finish spinning it.
Right, so we can get a head start on it now.
Ugh, all the while, you're going to be gallivanting off on this new mission that I've heard about.
Do you think that this is what I want to do? Do you realize that have you ever been to Takas 3?
It's a shithole, I've heard.
They rodeo maggots. That's what they eat there. It's absolutely putrid. This is not what I want to be doing, but this is what I have to be doing. Similarly to what happened back there was what I had to do in that moment.
Do you think I want to be bailing out bratty heirs from jail?
I assume that that's probably not your preference, but
Okay.
I also know that you're paid quite rewardingly for
Oh,
this.
throw that in my face. Well,
It's a job. I know you don't do this out of any personal enjoyment. You're here
mm-hmm.
because you're paid to be here. And regardless of that, I still appreciate it. But can I ask one more favor?
One more. Okay. All right. Throw it at me.
The arresting officer, the one who tased me,
No, I'm not
can I get
telling
his
you.
name, please?
No, I'm not telling you his name.
This is going to be public record in 3 months. You're just making it a little bit shorter of a time
No, I've
frame.
already given him 10,000 credits and sent him on his way. I've sent him off world.
To what world?
I'm not telling you. I've given him a vacation. I did the smart thing. I knew you were going to be hot.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave him 10,000 credits and sent him on a little vacation.
Well, if I send you 10,000 credits back, you'll know why.
Make a notice check. He's not on vacation. Not yet. You may have given him 10,000 credits to keep quiet, but he's probably still under investigation just like you are. She may have given him 10,000 credits to be quiet, and she may have given him a vacation, but he's still here probably under investigation just like you. So.
So when she says I sent him off on vacation, I'm just going to smile.
So.
Well,
All right.
Martha, again, I appreciate you every time you bail me out of one of these situations.
Okay. Show it by making them fewer and farther between.
I mean, it's been a few years.
You're right there. All right, let's go see your father.
Oh, yes. Can I stop and shower or something first?
Of course. All right, so we will skip to present time, and we'll do this flashback with your father another time period.
Mm-hmm.
So, all of you see Shaun stumble up to his feet. Having had a weird moment, or like some sort of like I don't know, like some kind of weird vision. And he was down on the ground, and everyone else on the ship was fine. But Spencer just kind of like blacked out and fell to the ground. But now he's back up, and now he's back up, and he's kind of looking around strangely at his environment. So, but before we get into that, I guess we probably need to update Cliff on what happened last game and where you guys are at. So all of you are in the Megani system, and Astra Unum sent you out here to find one of your transports, okay, that was transporting an alien artifact, okay, and they have lost contact with this transport. And the last place that they knew where it was about, I think it was like 5 days. 5 days into the Megani system, and you guys tracked it down to its last known location. And where you now have found it is now that brings us to its or at least what y'all believe is the transport. And essentially, we see two ships together, both of them Both of them are holes breached. Um, Sitting and kind of drifting amongst wreckage, a black cube-like device just floating out in space, drifting out in space amongst the wreckage. And all of this is happening in a decaying orbit around a gas giant in the Pagani system. Now, I believe we said last game that you have, let me double check my notes. Okay, so 3 days. Yeah, so 3 days until the 3 days until the
Orbit decay.
yep, the decaying 3 days until the ships actually start entering into the atmosphere of the gas giant. All right.
Never move.
That's what you got.
So coming to, right? Out of this little like trance.
And you just had your vision. I think you described it a little bit to the players last game, but maybe it'd probably be a good idea to describe it to the party again a little bit.
All right.
But just describe it in character.
Yeah. So just stumble up, like, just kind of breathing real heavy. Like, guys, I think we need to get on that ship. I think somebody might be alive. I was just contacted by an 11-year-old who said he's dead. I don't think that's possible. I think there might be survivors on that ship. I think the pirate crew is keeping a kid with psychic abilities hostage or part of the crew. They were using him. I think he might still be alive. Do we have any way of getting over to that ship?
Well, you have a landing shuttle. So
Yeah. So like, hey, we need to grab it and put on some suits and go check this out.
And just for Cliff, so with us being 3 days out from orbiting decay, does that mean that like in 3 days everything's going to be close enough to that planet's atmosphere to basically
like
get pulled into it?
The two ships will start falling into the atmosphere
Okay.
of that gas giant.
Okay, I just want to make
Now,
sure
that
my
doesn't
understanding
mean
of
that
it.
they'll be like gone or anything, obviously, because it's a gas giant. But they'll start taking in vapors and whatever things of that atmosphere, whatever that gas giant, like whatever it possesses. Does that make sense?
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I was understanding the terminology right. That basically it's going to enter into that atmosphere in that amount of time.
Essentially, enter into that gas giant, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever
Perfect.
gases it possesses. So.
Yeah. So, look, guys, I think we need to get over there because this kid.
At which point, by the way, it'll start falling faster.
Yeah. So, like, look, this kid, he seems to think he's dead. I don't think that's possible. I know of no possible way that you would be able to use any kind of psychic abilities after you're dead. So this kid has to be alive. He could be in a coma. He could be in some kind of stasis. He could be unconscious. I think we're dealing with, possibly a survivor on that ship.
It's also a good time to clarify to Cliff that we're still 10 kilometers away from these two broken ships, because we were using our long range scopes to look at them.
Okay.
So you guys might actually see more of the situation once you get closer.
Well, yeah, and I also bring that up. I'm like, look, we're like, look at the scanner. I'm like, we're 10. I can't use any ability at that distance. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Well,
We need to get
Arthur, Levi, I mean, you two would be the experts on this. What should we do?
Well, do you remember, Shane? Did we? I think we scanned the wreckage for like heat signatures, but didn't find any. I don't remember exactly
you
what.
didn't do a heat signature scan, no. I don't think. You
Okay,
asked
what-
about life scans, and I said you couldn't. That wasn't something that
Okay.
existed. I said something about you could send like a drone or something like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, considering this system is known to have pirates, maybe we should send a drone in first to scope out the area before we bring our ship in closer.
Well, if pirates did this, I know this ship isn't equipped enough for that sort of a battle. So I think that's a smart move.
Okay.
Do we have a drone we can send out?
Yeah, the ship has a drone.
Okay.
Yeah, the ship has like limpet drones. It only has like one or two though. I mean, you don't have like an advanced drone system. But it has like recon drones and stuff like that. But yeah, they're more like surveillance. Yeah, like surveillance drones basically. But yeah. So you want to use so electronics to get one set up and ready to go, and then send one out. So make an electronics roll.
Okay.
help with that.
Yeah, you're good to go. So Arthur gets one squared away and rigged up with the right equipment that it needs, because you're wanting to set one up for doing, I'm guessing, thermal scans, since you mentioned that.
Yeah, I mean, unless somebody else has other ideas, thermal for sure.
Yeah, you're setting one up for essentially just like surveillance, right? It's not doing
Yeah.
anything else. Because you can set up some for like mining. You can set drones up with different kinds of attachments, and so you're essentially setting one up just for surveillance, and then it'll bounce signal back to you.
Right.
So, okay.
How complicated would it be to set it up to interface with any sort of live computer system?
Well, they're pretty good size. They're like,
Okay.
so because it has to be like sturdy enough that it, like, if space debris hit it, didn't just go
Right.
just get smashed
Okay.
to bits. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, I guess it could pass through some passageways and stuff like that, but like you wouldn't want it. Does that make sense? But
Yeah.
it wouldn't have a lot of manual like ability to like. I guess it could have like arms or something like that, but I would say that's probably something you would have to make for it.
Okay.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be something
Something for the
standard.
future.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be some standard functionality for one.
All right. Thermal scans it is.
Okay. All right. So it's heading out, taking pictures, that kind of stuff, taking videos, and thermal scanning. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. And there's going to be a slight delay, like, probably like, I don't know, 500 milliseconds or something like that between the feed back to you. And so you send the drone out, and so who's going to be controlling the drone?
What does it require?
It would be piloting, yeah. So is Levi controlling it? Okay. All right. So Levi's controlling it. All right. Okay. So, all right. So no testing with it. No, nothing special. Nothing crazy. Okay. All right. So the drone gets in there, and you're not seeing any heat signatures like coming back up when you're looking at the infrared scans. You're not really seeing much as far as heat signatures, except for it looks like some of the ship systems might still be hot. Like some of the ship's functions might still be a little like operational, or might still be like might have functioned recently, or might still be warm, or could still be operational. For all you know, it's definitely not like completely dead. Well, that's a good question actually. Which ship is it going to first? Actually, there's two ships. There's a smaller ship that looks like it matches the transport that was carrying the alien artifact, or at least you suspect was carrying the alien artifact, the one for Astra Unum, and what you believe is the Wolf vessel, the pirate, which has decent amount of armament, more armor, has a pretty good sized cargo hull. What do you do?
I think probably the ship we're actually looking for,
Okay.
our target.
You sure you don't want it to go out there and go look at the alien artifact?
Oh, did you say it was floating?
Yes, just
The
drifting out
black
in space.
cube.
Where is it in relation to the ships? I don't remember.
It's about 400 meters from the nose of both ship, kind of drifting out in the center between both of them.
Okay. Well, we'll have the drone swing around near it and scan it, and then to our target ship, and then the wolf, potentially the
Okay.
wolf ship.
All right.
And back on the ship, are we actually able to? Are we all kind of gathered around, able to see the monitor, the relay of this?
You can be, sure.
Okay.
And Levi is maybe like at the front of the ship at like a piloting station, and he's looking at it through a different screen and like using the ship's controls, piloting it, and you guys are looking at it on a secondary screen. Okay. All right, cool. And so you decide to check out the alien artifact. And so when you're heading towards the alien artifacts, the first thing you see is this odd like. So first off, the drone has a 360 camera on it, right? On the underside of it. And you see this odd scene, right, now that you're closer. Actually, make a notice roll. Any of you can make this, I guess, if you're all looking at the thing. Yeah. Okay. All right, so I'll describe this to everyone, and then I'll tell Aston a little more. Okay, you all see the artifact, which looks like basically just black cube, just kind of just drifting out in space. And you all see what looks like it looks like people floating out in space. It looks like they're tethered to the wolf vessel. Or at least, sorry, it looks like one of them is tethered to the wolf vessel. And it looks like some of them aren't tethered to anything. And it looks like they're just all floating out in space. Most of them appear to be wearing EVA suits. And they appear to all be dead. Or at least unconscious, because they're all just kind of floating there. drifting in space. Cliff, you notice that the one tethered to the wolf vessel looks like an actual powered armor suit. So it looks like it's some heavy duty power armor. But it looks like it's taken pretty good damage. Like quite severe damage. And the helmet is just ripped away. And you don't know where the helmet is.
Oh, he did.
Yeah. And the head is completely gone.
Oh.
Of whoever was inside it.
Dead confirmed.
Yeah. But there are but whoever was in these, they don't look right anymore. And as you guys start like flying in, the drone in closer to the alien artifact, you're the first person to notice it, Aston. But as the drone gets in close, the alien artifact, there's like sides on the alien artifact, these little shapes and these little like, I don't know, like hexagonal like designs on it. They start shifting as the drone gets close until what it looks like some sort of focused shape is like aiming at the drone. And like as it does it, the drone just like the feed just disappears on the drone.
Well, shit.
And Aston's the only one who noticed that.
Well, he only noticed that he didn't notice he only noticed the flickering and the shifting,
right,
like momentarily before y'all did, and then you all saw like the feed disappear. So
right,
yeah.
Well, that was unexpected.
Well, I hope that those drones aren't too expensive, because I don't think we're getting that one back. And I can only imagine that if we fly this ship near that thing, the same fate will be met. I don't think the pirates destroyed that. I think that the artifact destroyed the pirates.
Well, now the question is, what do we do?
Was anybody giving any sort of specs on this artifact?
You guys do have a file. I mean, the information on the artifact itself is very unknown. I mean, they were going to take the artifact to a lab to do research on it. It wasn't supposed to be activated. So
did they have information on how they were transporting it, how it was contained, anything like that?
Yeah, it was in basically a like a Faraday cage, essentially. So whatever happened basically must have ruptured, essentially the equivalent of the Faraday cage.
Right, and I don't assume that our...
It was basically a container that was basically like the Faraday cage, and so probably, I don't know, either it didn't work or it got damaged or whatever. But
right, and I don't assume our ship has anything like that.
Nope.
Might be able to make something like that, but if theirs failed...
Well, if just deducing the situation here, if the pirates attempted to raid the ship to get this and they broke the containment field, this thing may have activated some sort of a self-defense relay and everybody got obliterated. I'm not sure I want to risk my life on my assumption, but...
Well, we could investigate the ship we came here for and see if we can ascertain how it met its fate originally.
And about how close did the drone get to this artifact before it activated?
It just drifted past the bodies, so about 150, about 125 meters from it.
Okay, so not too close of a proximity, but it didn't react when it was by the ships, only when it got close enough to it.
Yeah, no, I didn't do it while I was near the ships.
Okay.
You definitely had to be heading towards it.
Well, I don't think we should bring the ship proper that close, but maybe a shuttle.
Well, if I can get access to their computer systems, perhaps, I mean, if there is anything up and running and we can recover it, maybe we can get more information on how they were transporting this, what was going on, anything. Any information would be better than what we have.
I was going to ask
Maybe
you to
there's
switch
also
over to
some
some.
kind of
Go ahead.
video logs or something of
Mm-hmm.
them being attacked, or just any more information we can get. Maybe we can find out how to turn this thing off too.
Judging by the scene, I don't think that they know how to turn it off.
Maybe they didn't have a chance. I mean, this thing seems pretty efficient.
It
Perfect.
could have
Arthur
happened
will
so
send
fast.
Spencer.
Mhm.
It could have happened so fast. Didn't have a chance to.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly.
Spencer, if we put you in a suit, can you use your mind to get yourself to the ship?
No.
I don't know how this works. I'm learning as I go.
Well, you always want to send the juveniles.
It's in the juvenile. That is a good point. He is the kid. Okay, so I hate to rush you guys, but this is boring. So move along. What do you guys do?
Well, how about we send a second drone?
You
We
could
stay-
move at least 1 kilometer closer to it. You know?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, no, I mean you said they were like 125 meters before it got attacked.
Before the drone got attacked by the alien artifact. You don't even know if it got attacked. You just know you lost the feed. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, let's go to like 200 meters or something like that and see what we see.
You said the ships are like 400 kilometers away from this thing, right?
no, the ships are 10 kilometers from you.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, you said 400 meters from the artifact.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Let's stay like around that range. Let's not get too close.
I mean, yeah, you can investigate the ships and be like, we're gonna leave the artifact alone for now.
That's what I think we should do. Let's save the artifact for
Agreed.
later.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I'm assuming our sensors will probably give us better information the closer we get. So.
Yeah. So y'all are gonna just at least fly the ship to the other ships and see what's what.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Levi takes the ships in, and you guys get there, and you see, obviously the wreckage gets more dense, but Levi is able to navigate them and not damage the ship any because I'm not having him roll. He's not here. And so you guys get there, and so I'm assuming you guys get into a nice little stable kind of geosynchronous orbit around the gas giant. And as close as you can, I guess. Or as close as you guys feel safe. And so I've already told you that both ships are hull breached. Now, what are you guys doing for protecting yourselves? Now, the ship does have spacesuits.
Space.
So, are you each of you putting on spacesuits?
Yes.
I would assume so.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have guessed the three of us are venturing out and Levi staying back to keep the car warm.
Yes, that's probably the way we'll do it since he's not here. Okay.
Before we venture out, can we do another sensor sweep of some sort?
Do you want to send another drone out there?
Well, I was just thinking we're closer now. Can the ship sense? Can the sensors pick anything more up?
You could use make like a roll from your ship, yeah, and just do like a scan from your ship if you want to. Sure.
Yeah.
And does the ship have any sort of like multispectral imaging, like where they could see like electromagnetic waves and shit like that? Not just looking for heat, but to see if there's any electronics that are still active or cyborgs on board or anything like that.
Did you install anything like cyborg detector, Matt? Because I don't think that's built in.
Well, there's one on board, but that's not external. That's internal.
It does thing. It can be set up for like thermal or whatever, as long as it's like as long as it's nearby the ship. It can do things like enhanced scanning and radar and all that kind of stuff like that. But
that's why I was thinking like multispectral, things, like infrared, ultraviolet.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Thermal. Okay, yeah. Because that you should be able to at least see electromagnetic with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that kind of stuff. Sure. But yeah, it'll pick up some of that kind of stuff. Sure. So make an electronics roll to whoever's using the ship's controls to scan, I guess. Actually, we'll just make a notice roll since you're one roll to resolve the thing. Since you're noticing.
Assist?
Well, whoever's rolling it can roll it. And someone else can assist, of course. A support roll.
I have a D8, so if anybody's higher than that.
I have a 6 in notice, so I can assist.
Okay.
Wow. Or I can't.
Or not. That's all right. We got it.
God damn, yeah, we do.
A lot of the ships, like on the electromagnetic sensors and all that kind of stuff, like you're picking up a lot of like computer systems, or at least it seems like computer systems might still be operational, or at least that's the way it reads to you. Although based on the wave readouts, it's odd. Like, it doesn't look like a normal readout for when a ship is usually powered up. Like, when you're looking at it and all that stuff, it reads like, oh, I'm picking up a ship that's got, like everything's powered on and like, its electronic components are all up and all that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? Or, like... But the waves and everything like that, and the readouts, just something seems odd about them.
Okay, Arthur shares that with the crew. Something is not quite right over there. There do seem to be computer systems up, but yeah, something's off. I'm not sure what.
Given your hindrance, cautious, you're very wary given what you've seen. Because you've never seen anything like this before.
Of course, he's also curious, so...
Yes.
But maybe we should send a drone in closer first. Maybe there's more than one artifact. Maybe there's still one on board. I mean, that would be an unfortunate surprise.
Okay.
Or we could just send Spencer.
Can you sense anything with your brain, Spencer? Your mind? Reach out and touch.
I mean, you said you were speaking to a child. I mean, are you getting any sort of Yeah, I don't know how this works again, but are you picking up on anything here?
Like, I don't know. Just give me a second, and I go to the captain's chair. I just lean back, and I pretend like I'm concentrating, and I fall asleep. I will try and concentrate for a minute, but he'll probably fall asleep while he's trying because he can't concentrate on shit.
Nice.
At which point does Levi smack you in the back of the head for being in the captain's chair?
Yeah, I will open up my mind chakra. Do you have a crystal? I have a crystal. So I open a crystal.
Of course.
I just wait for just energy to come to me.
Will everybody stop caring?
Yeah, and then I start humming. I'll start humming. Nothing.
Just hear a message over the comms. All right, we're geared up and ready to go. You coming or what?
Oh. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. That apparently just isn't working. I think we're too far away from the ship. We need to be closer.
You're still 10 kilometers away. Oh, no, you guys are getting closer now. You guys have gotten closer now. So.
Well, most of my powers work.
Hey, Aston, you notice that he's bullshitting you.
Yes, exactly. I'm just looking at him.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have abilities? Powers, even?
Get dressed.
I'm already drunk. Oh, you mean the
the
suit?
spacesuit.
Yeah. Are you gonna go out there like that?
I could.
Because apparently he's Mary Poppins, like Leia. On the worst Star Wars movie ever. There, I said it.
Well, while Spencer is pretending to do his mojo, Arthur prepped another drone, and he's going to send it to the ship that we're going to EVA.
I need to definitively state how many drones y'all have. All right, you have 2 drones. Are you going to prep the last drone?
It's better than sending flesh and blood.
All right, okay. Yeah. All right, you're prepping the last drone.
Since we're closer, can we see what happened to the previous drone?
Sure. It is no longer there.
Like no debris or anything?
Nope. It is no longer there.
Interesting.
We'll probably get reimbursed for these. It was a billionaire, right? That sent us on this mission.
You're a subcontractor.
Do you know how billionaires become billionaires? It's not by reimbursing people.
Well, we'll submit it.
Shaun's the one who gave me Millionaire Next Door to read. He knows that.
Arthur, how long can we send Spencer out there without a suit and still revive him?
Not long.
I think an hour. Environmental protection.
Because you guys have the healing skill? Yeah. All right. So,
okay. Protection power.
You equip the drone for surveillance, Arthur. You sending out. All right. Now, what are you going to do with it?
Well, okay, I think you said previously that it looks like there are holes blown in
both ships. Both ships are breached holes.
Okay, like significant.
Okay, now that you're closer, both ships have like whole sections ripped open. One ship has the engines, like the rear engine, ripped free from it, and one ship has one whole side ripped open, and one of them has a large cavity in the bridge. The pirate ship has a large cavity in the bridge and a large cavity in the rear section.
And does the debris look like these pieces are still around, or are these pieces missing?
The pieces are floating around, yeah.
Okay.
I'll be specific on the damage, actually. So the pirate vessel has a large cavity in the rear of the vessel and a large cavity in the bridge. The transport has the rear engine, the main engine, completely ripped free. And it's on a stalk, and it looks like the stalk was ripped. And it looks like it may have a cavity on the top, also known as the ventral of the ship. And other than that, just like significant hull damage. Both ships. And
So
lots of
like,
debris is just floating everywhere, by the way, guys. So, like, just if you guys get thrown out of your shuttles by any way, and you're just free floating between these two ships, there's a high chance that you guys could take just like damage to your spacesuits, just floating just in the space between both ships.
in case that highly unlikely scenario happens where we're ejected out of our vehicle.
No, yeah, totally.
So
I totally didn't consider that possibility.
So from a voyeuristic standpoint, putting this all together, does it look like, based on your description, this is what I see in my mind's eye, that the transporter was breached and then something happened to the pirate ship? I mean, based on the way you worded it, that's kind of how I see it in my head. Is it looks like the transporter ship was intentionally breached, and then something happened to either there was a third party or something. But
Ooh, are you actually making an investigation now? Are you basically like trying to piece it together now?
yeah.
Okay. All right. I guess make a smarts roll based on the information I've given you.
Oh, okay, we could do that. No, hold up. No, I'm doing a Benny on that. I'm not. There we go.
I mean, given the fact that the transport is relatively intact, it looks like that the transport was successfully raided before the device was activated.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant by breach.
Yeah.
Like they was intentionally done. Okay.
Yes, and maybe the device had gotten loaded onto the pirate vessel before all this went down. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, so I'm going to share that. So my assertion of this entire scenario is that the raiders, and this is just me putting it together, I have no facts to go off. The raiders breached the ship, stole the artifact. The artifact did what it did to our drone on their ship, and it is now free floating. Whether it's sentient or anything like that, way beyond my scope. But just based on connecting the dots of this puzzle, it looks like that's what it looks like to us.
Given the hull damage on the pirate ship, it's way... Yeah. Yeah, the damage on the cargo the transport is more consistent with weapons fire.
Yeah, like a systematic breach. Whereas the pirate ship is catastrophic breach.
Yeah. Yeah, There you go. That's probably pretty accurate, yes.
So I share that. That's all I got.
Excellent job.
All right. Well, Arthur will have the drone enter one of the transport breaches.
The ventral cavity, probably.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So he enters into the ventral cavity, and it's now in the main deck of the ship, and so it's now just floating around in there. So it's kind of looks empty. You're not really seeing much in the way of people in there, or looks like at first glance it seems almost like Ghost Town. You're seeing. Is there a particular place in the ship you want to make your way to? I mean, you have a schematics of the ship, like it was part of your, like it was part of your dossier. Is there a place you want to go, like a bridge or a engine room or what?
The bridge would make sense. I think you said the engines were disconnected anyway, so.
Well, it was the main engine was, yes. Okay. All right.
And I don't assume that this artifact would be in just like a casual cargo hold or anything. It would be probably in a like guarded or secure area.
Well, the artifact's floating in space, but yeah.
Well, no, I mean like when they were transporting it.
Oh. Yeah, unfortunately you don't know, but yeah.
Yeah. Do we have a physical representation of this schematic or?
No, unfortunately you don't. No. Sorry.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah.
No worries.
So, okay. So you kind of making your way up to the bridge, and unfortunately, it looks like the bridge. It looks like someone tried to. It looks like what you see is you see the drone is like hovering in there, like hovering towards the bridge, and you see bodies stacked up at the bridge, and it looks like they're slumped over. Like they were trying to get into the bridge. And they're just kind of like limply and lifelessly just kind of like laying up against the bridge door. But the door is like, it's a double set of doors, and it's about like 9 inches shy of being shut all the way. And it's a sliding door. And you can't make out what's on the other side. And the drone is just kind of hovering there. So it looks like it was, yeah, so you see, looks like people just like limply up against the door.
Okay.
And they're not in spacesuits. They just appear to be on and they're not in like pirates. Attire.
They just like
wolves.
What I would expect civilians to look like on this trip.
Yeah, probably on the cruise clothes.
Okay.
If you want to maneuver the drone around, you can try to see more into the bridge, or if you want to figure out a way to open those doors, you can.
Can the drone remote access any of the terminals or anything there to maybe open the door? Or
Now, like I said, that'd be something Matt would have to make the.
This is asking Arthur.
Oh, okay.
Does this thing have the capabilities of doing this?
No, unfortunately, this is the first time we've used it. I have not had a chance to upgrade. So yeah, I guess we'll maneuver the drone to be able to see better into the bridge.
Okay.
See what we may see.
It looks like there were people with. It looks like there were 2 people huddled up inside the bridge with spacesuits on and armed with weapons, and they tried to defend the bridge with their life. And they're in similar attire as the other people outside the door. They have weapons out, like they were trying to defend themselves. But they appear to be dead as well. All of these, make a notice roll, please. I hate the notices coming up so much in this game, but you guys decided to sit back and ask a lot of questions and surveil. So
5.
All these people seem to be, I guess, a little more decayed than they expect them to be.
Gonna immediately look over at Spencer like, is this psionic stuff?
Psychic
abilities, sorry.
But their EVA masks, their EVA helmets are busted open, and they're dead.
So only the 2 in the bridge look more decayed than they ought to be?
No, everybody.
Oh. Okay. Are there any computer systems that the drone can get a look at? I mean, I guess it doesn't have any way of accessing, but to get a better sense of what the odd thing is with the machine.
Well, there's a computer screen beside the doors.
Okay.
If the drone goes over to the computer screen, it wakes up.
Okay, we'll do that with the drone.
All right. And you see it wakes up and it says.
Can I make a
it
common
says-
knowledge check about the?
Spencer, go ahead.
I was going to say, can I make a common knowledge roll with regards to the decay of the bodies? Mostly because I want to make sure that they weren't. He may have a couple theories, but just wanted to give it a shot.
I don't know if common knowledge. I don't know if that would fly as common knowledge.
More like a science thing or something.
I would take science or healing.
Damn it. We lost our doctor.
Yeah, I mean, unless you can tell me your idea and you can argue it's common knowledge.
Oh.
What is your?
No, I think it would probably have to be more like science.
Yeah.
Kind of the things that I'm thinking.
Okay, so Matt, the vid screen pops up, and you're basically seeing it says door controls offline, and it says main system operational, door controls offline, and then you see it fades away, and it says, and then it starts typing out words. And it says, "This is Devin."
Is everybody else watching the screen right now?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I don't think Aston is at this point. I have now. It's alien shit. This is all I'm thinking at this point.
Okay.
So I'm ready. All right, we're gonna have to think of something to do here because this isn't gonna cut it.
So Arthur turns to Spencer. Was your the friend from your vision named Devin by any chance?
I don't remember. Shane was Devin.
He didn't give you his name.
I'm like, I didn't get a name.
And then it says, "Hi," with 3 exclamation points.
Well, someone's typing at us.
Uh,
Are you going to help me? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
oh shit. I'm like, yeah, that type. Where are you?
Can't type.
We can't.
Do we have any sort of display on
It's like
the drone?
poker. Is there a keyboard?
Make the drone bob up and down to signify yes.
Yeah, you can probably bob the drone up and down.
Well, we'll do that in case he's got cameras.
All right. And then he says, "Good." He says, "Watch out for the dead."
How much we getting paid for this job?
It doesn't sound like we're getting paid enough.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's not enough.
Before the screen flashed where Devin took control, were there any warnings that we may have seen of like biohazard or containment or
It just said door
or
controls
contamination?
offline, main system operational.
Okay.
Does Spencer have a
And then
I forget what
the
it's called,
screen
but
goes back to the way it was.
does Spencer have his hacking computer yet? Did he ever get one of those?
Yes, I did buy one. Let's see.
Are you able to like access the ship through it? Because we might be able to get more information from this Devon entity.
Yeah. I mean, if we can somehow connect, I don't know if this thing has like Wi-Fi or whatever. Or do we have to like physically board the ship?
I would think that ships are made in ways that you couldn't hack ship to ship. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that would seem like most ship systems are made on, they would intentionally build them like on like wired networks, like offline networks, most of the main systems, like to intentionally prevent that. So
Well, if I bring the drone back, I might be able to alter it so that it can send a signal back. Wire up an arm of some sort so it can interface with the computer on the ship, and then you can access it through your cyber deck.
How long is that going to take? We're on kind of a timeline here.
It's like 3 days, and you guys are like drifting into a gas giant.
Yeah,
How long would that take?
I think at this point we need to either make the decision to cut our losses and leave, or to board this vessel.
Like, okay, guys.
I don't know. Brax Courtney Enterprises and their reputation is on the line.
All right. So, like, idea time. I can get my suit. Kind of like, I know this is going to sound stupid, but, and this is like the most famous gaming question of all time. How much rope do we have? So I can go there. I can try and hack in somewhere, because clearly somebody is on that ship that wants our help. If I run into any issues, you guys can pull me back. Or I'll
Godspeed.
you what?
It makes me uncomfortable for you to go by yourself. I mean, if we take the shuttle and you jump from the shuttle into the ship, then at least we're right there.
Perfect. Exactly. We can always run away.
Yes.
Just like the other two ships did.
Tried.
Look, man, I'm not trying to be a hero here, but there is potentially an 11-year-old that's on that ship. And so far, all we've done is fly a little remote control drone onto it.
Do you see the bodies that are floating? Do you see the armor that they have?
There's always bodies. Somewhere.
Not in power armor. We are undermatched for this.
There's only one powered armor, by the way. There's only one guy in powered armor. And he didn't have a head.
One.
And he didn't have a head.
Yeah, so the guy in power armor literally lost his head. And we're going to send a 14-year-old after an 11-year-old. What could go wrong?
When you say it like that...
This 14-year-old does have special abilities we've seen him use.
None of which are cleaning his room. Plus,
I turned 15, so joke's on you. So I'm going to grab my shit.
You know what? I'm in on this. Let's send Spencer again.
Let's send Spencer. I hope you two don't get a 15-year-old killed. You'll be terrible people.
We're going to take our break. We'll be right back.